uh, Sheboygan Press, and I had some questions about it, and so I did some inquiry and so on and so forth. First of all, I appreciate those comments. I think it is a historical landmark. There's no question about it. When I go past it, I look at the cornerstone. It says 1941. That's significant in my mind because we were at war at that particular point. It was part of the WPA process that came out of the Depression. It's part of our history. It's part of who we are. It's what unites us, not what divides us. In World War II, we had to fight a war that had to be fought. That was an armory. It was for the soldiers. And so often I look at the times today and we're divided. And I appreciate the fact that it's a liability perhaps to the city on its, in terms of looking at the cost. But then I did some further investigation, and there's a little book that was written by Red Albarn, okay? And he was a coach there for the Boston Celtics, okay? And in the book it says, "Let me tell you a story." You should get the book, okay? It tells about when he got basically kicked out of the Armory during a game with the Redskins. He got a couple technicals, and he had to sit out in the cold outside the door as he was escorted out by a couple of Sheboygan policemen who happened to be referees. So he claimed that he was homered, okay? Well, at any rate, he put that in his book, okay? And Red's gone, but he said this was one place he didn't want to play because he didn't think he'd have a chance of winning there. So that's a story. That's a part of history. It's a landmark. And I know some people have taken tours of it, and maybe it's in pretty rough shape right now, but it depends on who's taking a look. If I was an architect, and I looked up at that sky, okay? And maybe you can't see the sky right now, but from an architectural standpoint, I see that as a challenge. So I did some checking around, and I found that there were some other people that were looking into it, and that were basically the Schmidt brothers. And they had an architectural plan. I don't know if any of you have seen the architectural plan, but it was inclusive, not exclusive. I mean inclusive, they were thinking about turning it into having a learning center there, okay, for architects. Also a place to store the sailboats. Now, I think it's great that the Kohler has stepped forward and wanted to put money into this thing. But that can be accomplished with the existing boat, the existing building, because you could store the boats in there, and you could have a learning center for sailors also. So you'd have a combined learning center. So if the city doesn't want it, why don't we create a trust? That's what lawyers do. Why don't we get a Sheboygan County Trust to save the Armory, okay? You know, they had an old slogan, and they said, remember the Alamo? I got a slogan, remember the Armory. To tear that thing down, I think it would be terrible. It'd be horrendous. You're destroying history. They don't make buildings like that anymore. And if we can get enough of the players to put money into this trust, say Acuity, say LTC. I was a little skeptical about that one. When LTC was going to have this cuisine, this restaurant, I didn't think it would make it. But they turned that into a great thing. So I think a learning center, bring architects in, bring engineers in. I think you got to take a look in ways to preserve our history. I've been to Scotland, I've been to England. They wouldn't even think about tearing down this building. it's so many memories. I don't think there's a person in this room that doesn't have a memory of the Armory. And yes, there was basketball there, but all I can say at this point, this is something we can do. I think we've got enough major players in this community, and if the city really wants to get rid of it, basically transfer it to a trust and take a look at the Schmidt plan, and I think we can get the money to finance this thing. I appreciate the fact that the city's got off its duck, but this has caused other people to get off their duck. What we need is just a little more time, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Wertz. Thank
Yep.
you so much.